Hello, we continue our series of lessons on the topic of the perception of reality. You can download the sources from our website. You can also ask questions on kab.tv.
We already talked about it many times, that perception of reality is the revelation of the Creator. But it's not a revelation the way we imagine it now in our vessels of reception, but it's a very different phenomenon than the one it seems to us right now. We don't feel it, we can't find it. It's a phenomenon taking place in the vessels of bestowal, which we don't have at the moment, and therefore we can't imagine right now for ourselves such a revelation, the revelation of the Creator to His creatures, that takes place in the vessels of bestowal that we don't have, and so we can't understand what is it, how is it, under what conditions, and so on and so forth. But we're approaching this state from afar. This is actually the goal of the purpose of our existence, the purpose of creation altogether. And therefore, the fact that we're becoming connected to it, directed at this goal of the revelation of the Creator to His creatures, this already means that somehow we have accumulated inner qualities, and we're capable of aiming them specifically at that. And of course, we yet have left to organize these things correctly. How does the matter of the revelation of the Creator to His creatures occur? What do we need for it? Of course, we need everything that we have. But how do we arrange all of our desires? Working in the group, this is the main thing. Because without starting to feel the correct integration between us, inclusion, we will not approach the vessels of bestowal. We won't be able to feel the Creator. And therefore, our connection is necessary. It's necessary in order for each of us in particular and for all of us together to have this integral sense for connection, for bestowal. As it says, from love of the created beings to the love of the Creator. And besides that, we also have to work together on the matter of Arvut. That also has to do with connection. We have to work on the order of things. How do we organize ourselves, arrange ourselves to be as one man and one heart and love of friends and connection, necessarily coming closer, not feeling bodily, emotionally, but spiritually, that we all belong to one Kli. And then we have further work to do towards the Creator, to work on His loftiness, on His greatness, on His uniqueness. All these conditions, they're accumulated and they're revealed in the work, each and every moment in the work that we have to do. And what we have to do is to find a simple thing, so that what I internally feel, which is me, and externally, which is the world, that it is all shaped by the Creator. Why does He shape this feeling? So that I will constantly, through this internal and external feeling, will be directed at Him, locked on Him, on the root, on the reason, on the source of my feeling, actually, of my existence. And when I find that He is the only source for everything that's happening, for everything that seems to me in the meantime in this imaginary world that I'm in, so I find Him, I try to hold on to it each and every moment, regardless of where I am, studying, at work, with people, alone, regardless of the kinds of trials that He sends me in order to confuse me, which are usually called foreign or alien thoughts. Doesn't matter. On the contrary, you have to thank for the bad as for the good, because the source is the good that does good, that only advances me towards the goal through all of these feelings that He awakens in me. And this is how we advance, meaning every time, every moment, to examine oneself. How am I in adhesion with the Creator upon all the different events and occurrences? And from here, we have to understand that everything that happens in my feelings, in my inner traits, everything that happens in the world, that the Creator has created this imaginary world, this as if existing reality that exists only in me. Everything's in me. All of this is in order for me not to escape from it, but to determine that He is the source for all of it. If I try, if I make an effort, I have to accumulate as many forces as possible, and then I'll advance. Where will I take these forces from? The 10, that's my force. These are my parts that, to the extent to which I see that they're distant from me, to that extent I have the ability to draw these parts that have fallen off me, that have distanced from me. It is an opportunity for me to bring them closer, these parts that are broken, and an opportunity to reveal myself, my root, and I have to bring them back together to myself. Not to see the external faces because it's all imaginary, but the very same way that I reveal that it's the Creator behind everything that happens, that's going on, everything that seems to me that's going on inside of me and outside of me, the very same way I have to see my friends, that what I see outside of me, these aren't my friends, but these are desires that are inside of me. And if I draw them closer, then instead of all of these people, they become discernments, inner discernments, and the inner discernments become measures, and the measures become sfirot. And then I discover the Partzuf and start working with my Partzuf. So let's try and shape this kind of attitude for ourselves, this kind of outlook, and advance from there. This is actually the spiritual work of man. That's all there is to it. There are different other additions that a person discovers according to the extent to which he advances in his inner discernments. Well, let's begin.
We will read from a document with excerpts about the topic of excerpts on the perception of reality. Quote number 33 from Rabash, volume 3. The contradiction of the elders is construction. The construction of the youth is contradiction. The elders are those accustomed in the work of the Creator. The youths are those who are in the beginning of their work. Contradiction is called a descent or a fall, where before they had some ascent in the work, and this is considered as construction, building, meaning that they appreciated the ascents. However, the contradiction is at the time that they felt some fall, which comes from the concealment of the Creator, which means that the Creator hides himself from them, and this is called contradiction or destruction. The contradiction of the elders is that they say that the Creator sent them this contradiction. It follows that they are already in construction, since they believe that the Creator is taking care of them, and from that they get livelihood. And faith is evident mostly at the time of the descent, meaning at the time that it doesn't shine to a person, and then he's facing a dilemma. Either one might say, I don't need any reward, rather I want to bring contentment up above, and I don't care what I feel. Or, God forbid, it is the other way around. Again, the contradiction of the elders is construction, the construction of the youths is contradiction. The elders are those accustomed in the work of the Creator. The youths are those who are in the beginning of their work. Contradiction or destruction means a descent or a fall, where before they had some ascent in the work, which is considered as construction, building, which means that they appreciated the ascents. However, the contradiction is at the time that they felt some fall, that it comes from the concealment of the Creator, which means that the Creator is hiding himself from them. This is called contradiction or destruction. The contradiction of the elders is that they say that the Creator sent them the contradiction. It follows that they are already in construction, since they believe that the Creator is taking care of them, and from that they get livelihood. And faith is evident mostly during the descent, meaning at the time that it doesn't shine to the person, and then he is facing a dilemma. Either one might say, I don't need any reward, rather I would like to bring contentment up above, and I don't care what I feel. Or, God forbid, it could be different.
אם חשוב לאדם התקדמות,
If it's important for a person to advance, then advancement can only come from descents. Where a person feels that he's falling and falling, that he has criticism, that he has a lowly mood, lack of mood, a kind of corrupt attitude towards the group, the teacher, the Creator, towards life altogether. And this is the place to start growing stronger in faith in the Creator, meaning that there is none else besides Him, the good that does good, that gives him this state, so that precisely through this state he'll invert what he feels in his desire and in his mind, that he'll go above it. That, okay, in my mind, in my emotions, this is what I feel, and I don't really understand things that these things aren't exactly joyous for my ego, but when I rise above that and I accept the Creator as the good that does good, none else besides Him, I merit an ascent. And so, whoever understands that the descents are an opportunity for an ascent, then for him, the contradiction becomes a building. And anyone who's influenced only by what he feels, that he doesn't feel that great, then for him it becomes truly an even greater descent. And then, when he thinks about building, for him, the building isn't to go above reason, above what he feels, but for him, to feel good. This is what he considers as building, and then that becomes a contradiction. You have to gain a bit experience in this, and it comes after a few years, but still, a person starts seeing his states not according to what he feels, but according to the way they truly occur in spirituality, meaning the constant persistence of reminding himself, of trying to really even feel that there is none else besides him, the good that does good, and such that I all the time keep myself in the scrutiny. This leads a person, of course, to feel even greater pressures, different unpleasantnesses, fears, anxieties, occurrences that are unpleasant, and they build in him the ability to hold himself in none else besides him every time, such that he starts expecting the state of the descent, where I awaken the dawn instead of the dawn awakening me, that both in the descent he is happier than in the ascent. Like Rabbi Shimon, that according to his descent fall into being Rabbi Shimon from the market, he understood that it's a kind of an invitation for an ascent. Questions?
Do we have to feel that you're in descent in order to determine there's none else besides him who's good and does good? Or, you go for something and immediately you determine it.
What do you mean?
You go through it, meaning you're in the situation.
Meaning that you feel.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter in what condition. Ascent, descent, in every state and condition you have to determine, and not even determine, but to try and make it something constant. Regardless of what state comes my way, I am floating over it all. I turn AC into DC, constant attitude.
Is that considered determining there is none else besides him?
Depends on how you hold on to it. What you want to ask is, according to what parameters can I be sure that I'm in none else besides him?
Yeah. I mean, why am I asking? Because there is apparently some process here which is a kind of above reason that you have to go through.
In the meantime, you're working above what you feel. At first, it's not really above reason. You don't really have such great confusions, but a person is given just a bit of. He's not being disconnected. He's given a bit of burdening of the heart. It's a bit unpleasant. It's not as appealing as before. It's not that interesting as it used to be. Like with little children. You give them something so they'll succeed, because by that he also has to acquire a sense of confidence. To conquer, it's like conquering in a fight. So as if like in a fight, like you give something to a little child, and he's trying and he's sweating a bit, and he succeeds. But it's given to us in a way that we don't completely disconnect from none else besides him. Good and does good, maybe we don't feel. At first, the main thing is to determine that there's none else besides him. Good that does good, this is something emotional. It's not something intellectual, and this is why it comes later. That's it. Yeah.
We have to experience this connection in order to determine it, or you can immediately determine it.
Partial detachment, partial disconnection, and you add, and partial disconnection, and you add. And this is how you're being taught, doing these different exercises, but it's not a kind of exercise where you're completely disconnected and, okay, where will I now take the new attitude from altogether? This also happens, but that's for the more advanced. Otherwise, everything's done softly, in a good, a nice attitude from above. I just wanted to add, yesterday I heard a question. How is it that we talk about this to everyone? Because among us there are many beginners. And we started studying the perception of reality only after a few good years of studying. And, nonetheless, we've acquired some experience and it's a habit, and habit is something very important. And here we suddenly open it to everyone, and everyone's studying it, being in it, doing workshops about it, and so on. I heard this kind of complaint yesterday. So I just want to say that the complaint is a complaint, sure, right? But the same way that we are preparing in our world the new life for our children, we see how they're trying with their mobiles, with their games, with this, with that. They're ready for it. Where does it come from? Doesn't know. He's born with it. He's born with a finger ready to push buttons. He knows how to do it. I don't. I still don't. Besides using the phone itself, I don't know how to use the device. I wish it was a wired phone. That would even be better. And then, my grandchild, he plays around with my phone, and that's it. I can't bring it back to its previous state. There's different things jumping up and down. So, what I want to say is that this is how they're ready for what we have prepared for them. And this is how it is with each and every generation. And therefore, the new students, when they come, we have prepared a place for them, just like we came. And were we now sitting someplace 1,000 years ago, somewhere abroad, in Spain or in Europe or Eastern Europe, someplace, then we too would have been on a completely different level towards the wisdom of Kabbalah, meaning every generation raises the general level higher. And therefore, accordingly, the students that come, they come and they enter something that's already ready and made. And therefore, there's no point of fearing that the new students, that it'll be hard for them to come in and they'll have to wait for many years like we did and so on. No. This is what I wanted to say about the complaint I heard. Yes, Itzik.
You said that progress comes through descents.
Only from descents, because the descent is the revelation of new corrupt discernments, new meaning that there are new discernments that are revealed, that they're corrupt from back then, and now you can correct them and keep going. This is called that there is nothing new under the sun, meaning that it was prepared from the shattering of Adam HaRishon, and now the time has come that I'm correcting it again and again. So the descents, they're more important than the ascents. If there's a descent, then that means that you're ready to correct it and to add it to the ascent.
What is the difference between yearning for the sense versus the yearning the bad?
We do not yearn for the bad because I want to determine that the Creator is good, that does good in everything that He does and everything that I experience.
We say we need to be grateful for the bad as for the good. What does it mean?
What do you mean not to get confused? How can I get confused if I'm trying to reach a state where I feel good and bad is a feeling that I start feeling that everything that's going on is good. And of course, I fail every time in the new discernments, and again, I add them to the good. This is regarding the feeling of good that does good, and regarding none else besides Him. So I have to work at it. But again, if a person doesn't find his way around and suddenly it disappears from him, the best thing is to find himself connected with the society. When he's connected with society, the good that does good, none else besides him, is revealed to him, because this is where he is present.
On that same topic exactly, friends from Portugal are asking, what does it mean to cancel what is happening in our lives?
Cancel?
Yes, cancel what is happening in our life. Yes.
Does I don't understand what does it mean to cancel. Why should I cancel something?
But before we talked about canceling what is happening and focusing on what is happening in terms of the spiritual work in the group.
Not to cancel. Why cancel? Does I don't understand this word? Everything that I experience, the Creator, He depicts this world to me and myself in my current shape, the way I am right now. I'm unreal, and the world's unreal. This is only the way He depicts it to me. And through these depictions, I have to work. It's all a depiction. A very interesting one. That later I look at it and I say, that's me? Yeah, this is how you saw yourself. And this the world? Yeah, that's how you saw the world. And afterwards, this depiction, it really completely changes into new discernments, spiritual ones. But I work with it. I work with this depiction, otherwise how can I advance? This depiction is also a part of spirituality, all in all.
But on the other hand, Dima from Canada is asking if we have a feeling of uncertainty and concerns, for example, about making a living, and it seems like you have to take care of this and not the study. Is this also an invitation for an ascent? Yes, the person has to arrange himself, whatever comes, so that, well, he might have concern. Nevertheless, he might be in a state where he has to take care of his livelihood, income. Some may have concerns about health, others may have problems with children. Each one has his own box. However, we need to take this as part of the concern above which one has to determine that there is none else besides him, good that does good. It's not that it's disconnected from anything. And especially Dima, that for him, he's being awakened from the heavens only through specifically such awakenings related to making a living. Others have other things. Each one is according to the root of his soul. It doesn't mean anything actually about the soul itself. That with one it comes with money, and with other it comes with health, and for others it's with children, with their children. No, we don't understand why it happens this way. It will be revealed. Now we're going to move on. I think that we do put all of these pages in on some website, in some window? Do we? What we learn now, the daily materials, every day, is it all added? We talked about it, that we need to do this. It's in Sviva Tova. Well, Sviva Tova, I don't think that's enough. We need to have simply this headline, the perception of reality, is something kind of neutral, and there we need to have all the materials that we talked about, the excerpts, and what I say and what I ask. Besides, we don't need to have what you are saying, what you are discussing in the workshop, so that the person can actually repeat it and follow our order, starting 10 days ago when we started this, up to today, and up to as long as we continue this, and until the end of correction. Do we have it? It was sent by WhatsApp and email. I don't want to hear that. If somebody wants to, he should be able to go in. You send to some people and you don't send it to other people. And this is why if you say it was sent, I find it disqualified, because you only send to those that you know. And those that you don't know about, you're not going to send it to them. But everybody should know where this is. And I have said it several times already. And you keep telling me WhatsApp. I don't want to hear about WhatsApp. Trump speaks through WhatsApp, right? Or something there. No, Twitter. That's it. We need a window, something which is clear, safe, inside the Bnei Baruch Kabbalah. I don't know what you call our main site.
Sviva
Tova is only Sviva Tova, right? We have the website of Kabbalahinfo. Do we use it or not? Sviva Tova is just for the friends, right? Or not? Why do you just keep throwing at me Sviva Tova? I never even go in there. Sviva Tova is, something, not serious, not professional. It's around the lessons. This is not about the lessons. This is about the method. And if you won't listen to me, you will lose. And already you're losing. I'm telling you, do what I said. That's it. It has to be something big in our main website. And from all of your WhatsApps and all of your Sviva Tova, this environment, that environment, you need to aim to have links pointing there. But this stuff belongs not in Sviva Tova, like a bunch of kids playing in the courtyard. And don't just send it. If you send it, are you familiar with how many people are you familiar with that are connected to us? 10%, maybe. And the 90%, you don't know about them. So how can you feel so good that you send it to everyone? What do you call everyone? For me, everyone is the whole of humanity. So how do you send? You can only choose from. What you need to do is aim from all of our different sites, all the different places. You have to aim to have links pointing to where these materials are. Well, we're going to look at you in a few days, but you're losing out here. And I don't want to hear about Sviva Tova or any other excuses, or that I'm sending it, mailing it. That's not an excuse. This makes it even more disqualified in my eyes, because you feel that you did something and now you feel good. I did it. I sent it to everyone. Well, what do you mean, everyone? I don't know. I never got it. What do you mean, everyone? I want to go to our chief website and to see it there as the most important, as an important topic, like the writings of Baal HaSulam, the writings of Rabash, also this topic. Read.
Item 32, Baal HaSulam, about fear that sometimes comes upon a person. When fear comes upon a person, one should know that there is none else besides him, and even witchcraft. And if one sees that fear overcomes him, he should say that there is no such thing as chance, but God has given him an opportunity from above. And he must contemplate and study the end to which one has been sent, this fear. it appears that it is so that he will prevail and say there is none else besides him. But if after all that fear has not departed from him, one should take it as an example and say that one's servitude of the Creator should be in the same measure of the fear, meaning that the fear of God, which is a merit, should be in the same manner of fear that he now has, that is, that the body is impressed by this superficial fear, and exactly in the same way that the body is impressed, the fear of God should be. Again, item 32. Balasulam Shamati 138. When fear comes upon a person, one should know that there is none else besides him, and even witchcraft. And if one sees that fear overcomes him, he should say that there is no such thing as chance, but God has given him an opportunity from above, and he must contemplate and study the end to which one has been sent this fear. It appears that it is so that he will prevail and say there is none else besides him. But if after all that the fear has not departed from him, one should take it as an example and say that one's servitude of the Creator should be in the same measure of the fear, meaning that the fear of God, which is a merit, should be in the same manner of fear that he now has. That is, that the body is impressed by this superficial fear, and exactly in the same way that the body is impressed, the fear of God should be.
Well, we can have a few questions about that also. Do we have any? Yes, well, America, let's see you. But don't start as usual. We don't want to hear any of that. Yes. No complaints about the Creator. Rather, what you now heard.
Regarding none else besides him, is this a result of all the work that I did, of all of the indirect work that I did? Or that this is how I try to think?
Well, try to think this way.
So it's a result of that.
As a result of your mental and emotional effort that you want to be in adhesion with the upper root that establishes the whole of reality. And you are on the other side of the reality that it is establishing, and he confuses you on purpose in order for you, through the whole of reality, to only see him.
Can you explain a bit how to determine how to ascribe how to determine that the bad feeling comes from none else besides him, good, that's good?
The bad feeling, it remains, right? And you remain with the good that's good. What's the problem? What's the problem? Here am I, and on the other side, the Creator. And here between us is the world. It doesn't matter which world. This world, the next world, the upper world, the lower world, it doesn't matter. The Creator is influencing me, bestowing to me all the goodness, I receive bad, with all kinds of discernments in the mind and heart. What should I do? I should say that I am receiving bad in my qualities. But actually, from the Creator, what comes out is good. Why do I get it, receive it as bad? So that I, nevertheless, in spite of my qualities, I will rise above them. I'll rise above them and determine in return that the Creator is doing good to me. How can I do it? Through the light that reforms. I don't quite know how to do it, but through the light that reforms. I constantly work on this, that there is nothing bad in the world, there is no source of bad, there's only the Creator who is the source of good, and everything happening is happening in me. It comes to my qualities, and this is how I feel. It comes to some quality of mine which is corrupted to begin with, the light of the Creator. It comes to some corrupted quality. Let's say in my body there's something which is corrupted, which is bad. The light comes and I feel some illness, God forbid. What does it mean? Now they're shining on me and showing me that this part is malfunctioning, is corrupt. What do I need to do? I have to make it so that I will determine there is none else besides Him, good who does good. And by that, this part becomes corrected later again in some other place and again in some other place. And this is how I correct my goof, my body, meaning my soul. That's it.
In the article where he says, I don't exactly remember the words, but he says that that he has to determine that there is none else besides him. Does it mean that every moment you have an opportunity to really do that?
Yes.
And it's always possible to do?
Artificially, you're not in it yet. Later on, the feeling would come that indeed there is an upper force who is doing this to you. Later on, it will come into your sensation. But for the time being, you have to do it only through effort.
Thank you.
Well, bit by bit. Terence?
Rav, I don't understand. אני לא מבין, je comprends pas la deuxième phrase de ce texte-là. J'ai jamais compris ça.
I don't understand the second sentence we just read in the text.
When fear comes upon a person, one should know that there is none else besides him, and even witchcraft. Is this what you don't understand? So it seems to me like it's all confusing, and there are other hidden forces operating here that are hiding, that are even contradicting the fact that there is a single force, good that does good. There are other forces operating, not only people, but forces in nature, right? There are many upper forces. Because I see that, what about the Creator? Where is the Creator? This seems to be coming from a different direction or from several directions. There are many gods, etc. We talked about it. We learned this about such religions and faiths, the multitude of the upper forces. So even witchcraft. So the confusions will come from all directions in such a way that it is very clear that, this I can discover. I don't discover the Creator, but this I do discover. This force is operating, especially the bad force. And I can see how much specifically it is expanding over the whole of reality, working, operating everything. Well, you'll overcome. Mutlu, what?
Regarding the feeling that comes to a person
Yes, before the feeling comes to a person, is there anything to correct? maybe in your mind, intellectually, but before it comes and awakens in a person in his mind or emotion, there's nothing to correct
So you work only
with the mind. But then it means that a person is simply dead. If he doesn't have some new discernment in his emotion or in his mind, then he has nothing to work with.
But when he does work, and there's a state that there's something that he has to correct, but the light actually does the correction. So what does a person have to correct then?
The correction won't come before a person invites it.
So we have nothing to correct because you told Itzik and Aaron that a person has to correct the state.
To correct the situation means that he would like to determine there's none else besides him with all of his force. Yes.
What's the right way to work? I feel bad. What do I do that very instant? I think about the group. I ask through the group. How do you do it?
No matter how I feel, what I feel, I have to constantly try to be in adhesion with, there is none else besides him. This is the most important. As much as it works, it's fine. As much as it doesn't, okay. Here, there's also the matter of the 10. If the 10 is essentially drawn to this, and they are also thinking about the Arvut, about the connection between them, then you could reach a situation where you never separate, you never depart from this thought of there is none else besides him. The friends are always helping you to be in it. But if there is no agreement on this, if there's no covenant, no arvut, if they don't throw you the rope so that they can pull the person out of the river, as he tells us in the article for the completion of the Zohar, then a person by himself, it's very hard for him to be in it. If the Creator won't disconnect him completely, but only disconnects him partially, then he has some ability to determine that there is none else besides him, on top of all of the things, the bad things that appear in him, because they're revealed not 100%, but in some percent. 20%, 30%, then he can still determine that no, this is coming from the Creator. It's not the family or the police or the bank or work or all kinds of such things. This is coming from the Creator. One can determine it. But if it comes to him 100%, he cannot. That is, one is very limited in his path, in his ability to advance. And here comes the matter of Arvut. If one signs a covenant, Arvut, with the group, then even if he is disconnected, however, he has seemingly an external kli, means. The friends, there is a connection with the Creator, and to the extent he's connected with them, he's connected with the Creator. Without that, we will not advance. So much so that only through the connection with the group, we will discover the connection with the Creator, who is in the center of the group, and in such a way, well, he will compel us to be in this way no matter what. The kli must be integral, the connection between us. Therefore, each one thinks that he needs to be in, there is none else besides him, he needs to be connected to there is none else besides him. It's not going to work without the group. You won't get arvut or support of any kind. None of this. It's as you live in this world without a bank and no insurance, and there's no one preparing food from you or selling food to you, then who are you? What are you? Let's say now you don't have any of these services from the environment, from the society, from the state. Well, what are you going to do? You will go to the field to look for some grass to eat. What are you going to do? It all comes through our corporeal Arvut, that we all sustain one another. And this is how it should be in spirituality as well, that we sustain, nourish one another. Without that, we will have no possibility to advance. And the more humanity advances, the more we become connected with one another to an integral society. So this is how we need to see ourselves in the group also. It's not just, be good kids and let's play together. Rather, it's a system where we find there is none else besides Him. And without their support, I will never be able to hold myself. And the Creator accordingly also won't allow me to advance, because I have nothing to rely on. I don't have help. Only to the extent that I prepare myself with a good environment, then I'm given harder exercises, and then I advance. This is why, look at how much we're now fighting for people to come to the Congress. What do they think? That I need this Congress? What is it? That some scenery that I didn't see before? That I want to fly to Germany for today, for a few days. What do we get out of it? Only to connect them a little bit more and a little bit more. They don't yet understand, they don't yet digest. And also us, each one to his extent, that without Arvut you stand no chance of advancing, because you can't get means for advancement, strong, correct descents. Because in the spiritual descents you lose your strength, and everything then exists in your external kli, in the group, and you have nothing. You simply fall on them, and that's it. So everything that you have invested in them, you can get back. But otherwise, you can't. Yes.
In the passage we just read, there are three stages. At first, one has to say there's none else besides Him. Don't remember what the second one is, but the third is that a person has to invert the disconnection into the fear of heaven. What does that mean?
That I come to a state where the disconnection means that now I was given a will to receive, over which I cannot be in adhesion with the Creator in any way. And then, with these disconnections, usually they bring a person fear, anxiety, helplessness, lack of success, etc. So, above this, I have to transcend above it and say that this is coming to me from there is none else besides Him. That specifically in this way, when He now awakens this disconnection in me, disconnection from Him, I need to connect with Him above reason. That I do see in this form of connection, a connection with Him. Where I don't have a corporeal connection with Him, there I am able to arrange a spiritual connection with Him. And by persisting on demanding new lines of communication, of connection here, which are not with my present mind and heart, rather above them, through the group, through the search, which is not for the ego in any way, I find new connections with Him, which are called faith above reason. The situations we go through in the disconnections, in helplessness, are the most beneficial states for building this connection. We can't explain about it, about faith above reason. There are no words. A person gets it and then he understands what it's about. Well, we'll continue and we will see. Well, wait a minute, are we going to now move to To the pticha, to the preface. We don't have time to do anything, not even a workshop. Well, let's continue. Come to Pharaoh.
Item 75, Bal Sulam, letter 14. Come to Pharaoh. It is the holy divinity in disclosure. From the words, and let the hair of the woman's head go loose, as it is written in the Zohar. The thing is that, to the extent that the children of Israel thought that Egypt were enslaving them and impeding them from worshipping the Creator, to that extent they were truly in the Egyptian exile.
That is, as much as a person thinks that these disturbances are separating him from the Creator, they disturb him. This is why he calls them disturbances. It means that he is within reason. Rather, he has to understand that specifically thanks to them he can rise above them and have a spiritual connection with the Creator. Thanks to these connections, thanks to these confusions.
And the Redeemer's only work was to reveal to them that there was no other force involved here, that I am not a messenger.
This is called that Pharaoh is bringing the people of Israel closer to their fathers in the heavens. These discernments, these disturbances actually bring closer.
For there is no other force but Him. This was indeed the light of redemption, as explained in the Passover Haggadah. This is what the Creator gave to Moses in the verse, "Come to Pharaoh," meaning, until the truth for the entire approaching, meaning unite the truth for the entire approaching the king of Egypt is only to Pharaoh, to disclose the holy divinity. This is why he said, "For I have hardened his heart, etc., that I may place these signs of mine within him." In spirituality there are no letters, as I have already elaborated on before. All the multiplications in spirituality relies on the letters that are sucked from the materiality of this world, as in, and creator of darkness. There are no additions or novelties here, but the creation of darkness, the Merkava, that is suited to disclose that the light is good. It follows that the Creator Himself hardened His heart. Why? Because I have a need for the letters. This is the meaning of that I may place these signs of mine within him, and that you may tell, that you may know that I am the Lord. Explanation. Once the letters were accepted, meaning when you understand that I gave and troubled you for you, as in, do not move from behind me, for you will thoroughly keep the Achoaim, posterior side, for me, for my name. Then she will make her abundance and fill the letters. The qualities will become Sfirot, since before the filling they are called qualities, and upon their fulfillment for the best they are called Sfirot, Saphir, illuminating the world from one end to the other. This is the meaning of that you may tell. I need all that for the explanation, meaning, and you shall know that I am the Lord, and not a messenger. This is the meaning of the 50th gate, which cannot appear unless the 49th phase of pure and impure appear, one opposite the other, in which the righteous falls, also 49, before the wicked.
What does he want to say? That all the disturbances in general are called Pharaoh, and if we overcome them one by one, we prepare ourselves for the revelation of the Creator. That is it. And to see in that only Panim and Achoaim, the face and the posterior. The posterior of the Creator is Pharaoh, and the face is the Creator Himself. And that's how He's revealed in Acho and Kedem. Let's go to Pticha. But I'm telling you again, we need to be in this throughout the day. And all the other materials, arrange it and show me where it's at. You're not appreciating the topic enough.